It never happens at a good time. The pipe bursts at midnight. The heater quits on the coldest night. Suddenly, you're overwhelmed. That's when HomeServe is here. For $4.99 a month, you're never alone. Just call their 24/7 hotline and a local pro is on the way. Trusted by millions, HomeServe delivers peace of mind when you need it most. For plans starting at just $4.99 a month, go to homeserve.com. That's homeserve.com. Not available everywhere. Most plans range between $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms apply on covered repairs.
Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, the podcast aimed to inspire you to find your voice and become the best, truest, and most authentic version of yourself. Spiritually intimate, soul-to-soul conversations, life-changing insights, and spiritual teaching and healing. Real, raw, unfiltered. Join your host, Tisha Michelle.
Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Seeing with Your Soul with me, your host, Tisha Michelle. What's up, everyone? How are you guys feeling? I'm feeling good over here. All right, so we are going to dive straight in and let's express some gratitude. However, if you've been listening to me for a while, I want to switch it up a little bit and I want you guys to go first and I want you to tell me what you're grateful for, right? But before we go into that, let's get a little grounded and let's center ourselves, right? So I want you guys to take a nice deep breath and you're just going to breathe in through your nose and just let it out through your mouth. I want you to drop those shoulders. Allow yourself to just relax. You're giving yourself permission right now to just be here, to be present, to feel what you need to feel. Release some of the burdens that you're carrying with you because most of that shit is not yours. It belongs to someone else. So let's just send it out with these breaths. So let's take another nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Doesn't that feel good? You may even want to stretch a little bit while you're doing this, but let's just do one more. Another nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose. Yes. And let it out through your mouth. Yes, yes, yes. What are you guys grateful for? Say it out loud. Say it in your head. Put me on pause. Go and journal. Whatever. Scan your life. Past couple of days, past couple of hours. You know, what is it? What are you grateful for? In this present moment, what are you grateful for? Right? Bask in that feeling and whatever it is, if it's a person or a thing or things, your job, your health, your wealth, whatever it may be, just feel it. Feel how good it feels to just think about this in your life and just think about this moment of you just being truly, truly grateful for whatever it is or whoever it is, right? So as you're holding on to that beautiful feeling, I want you to just simply say, send me more. Send me more of this feeling. We're not asking for more of that particular thing or things or person. It's that feeling. And this is how the universe rocks off with us, you know, and rocks with us on our feelings, right? So, you know, it feels good. And just say, universe, send me more of this feeling. I'm so open to receive this. Yes, 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 and yes, right? All right. So for me, in this present moment, I would definitely say that I am grateful for the class that I just taught. It was my first hypnosis certification class. So I just certified 6 beautiful, dope-ass souls to go out in the world and, you know, continue the work that they're doing just in a deeper way by helping, you know, guide and connect people to the deepest and most powerful part of ourselves, which is our subconscious mind, right? Which is where everything is stored. Operates 95% of what we do. You know, the gifts, the skills, the knowledge, that wisdom is stored in there, but it's also holding our fears, our traumas, our wounds, right? So the teaching aspect in certifying someone showed up in my radar, which when I say radar, I mean in my energetic field in 2019. And I was like, what am I going to be teaching people on? And what am I going to be I don't see me doing the certification. I'm just going to keep, you know, helping people the way that I'm helping. I just didn't see it, you know. That's like our intuition on spirit guides. They see it. It's ahead of the game, right? But what it's doing is it shows up. These things will, your thing or whatever will show up in your space. And when I say show up in your space, like you may hear someone say this, right? Oh, man, you should really teach. And you're like, oh, no, I'm going to be certified, nobody, whatever. Then all of a sudden you keep hearing this in different places, and maybe someone else says it to you, or you look up and there's a sticker that says teacher and you're like, what? Right? So it starts showing up into your space, but you just don't see it. And you don't see it because everything hasn't unfolded yet, but there's just the seeds are just being planted. So because these little seeds keep being planted, when you get closer and more things start to unfold, it starts to make sense. And the reason why it's really making sense, because now you're thinking back to, oh, that's why I kept seeing that, right? So that was me in the teaching thing. If you've ever had a reading with me, I teach in that. Your spirit guides will give you something, and then next thing you know, like I'm teaching you about it or teaching you how to do it. And it's something that I thoroughly enjoy, right? I just didn't see the bigger picture in that sense. So when far as certifying people came knocking at the door, was literally knocking at the door, I was like, you know what? I'm going to open this bitch and I'm going to walk through it. What's up? Let's go. All right. Hypnosis class, right? So, I just certified. So I'm super grateful for that, because it felt good. And at the end of the class, it was a 5-day thing. 3 of them, we separated. We had 3 back in July. Yeah, back in July. And we had a little break in between where I just dripped content in our group, because all the stuff is housed in our group. And then we did the 2 days to complete the class. And I was done on Sunday, and I felt exhausted, but I felt good. And it made me think back to, if you listen to the episode with Erin Claire on human design, and she talked about the generators, and with me having a 4-6 in my profile, that, I'm meant to be exhausted at the end of the night, but it feels good. And when I was feeling like that, I was wide awake. I was doing the follow-up stuff that I told them I'd post, the stuff into the group and get this and send them pictures and all this stuff. Even though at this point now it's like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I feeling like exhausted, but I felt good. I felt meaningful. It felt purposeful. And I said, this is what she was saying. This is what it is, right? So that thing is like when you, at the end of the night, and you're exhausted and you're burnt out and you're just like, fuck my life, right? We've all been there, right? Let's keep it real. I have. And, most of the time it's really because we're doing something that's not actually feeding our soul or nurturing it. Our soul's like, bruh, like, you're draining me because you are doing something that, is no longer serving you. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a job, right? Per se. When you can be exhausted at the end of the night and it just still feels good. It's like, oh, that's a clue, right? So I had these clues when it came to teaching. It lights me up. And if you ask me questions about spirituality, you ask me questions about, my journey, you ask me questions about hypnosis, you ask me questions like, well, how can I read people? Yes, you can. Right? The fact that you're asking it, and if you feel that this, let's nurture that, and I love to have those conversations. I love to teach you. I love to teach you with the oracle cards, right? Really, I'm doing is just teaching you to trust yourself. That's it. Everything that you need is within you, right? Just here to bring it out of you, right? So, that teaching lights me up and it makes me feel good. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. Now, there's a lot of things that I know that I'm dope at. I know that I'm great at, because one, I just know, damn it. Then I've also had the validation of my clients, However, I have given myself the permission to pivot whenever it is that I feel that I'm ready to pivot. And it's time to pivot, regardless of something that I'm good at, right? So some of you, there's people that are saying, but you're so good at this. You should just do this. You should do that. And that's great. You could be good. You could be like, yeah, I'm dope at this shit, but I don't want to do it, right? I don't want to do this no more. It doesn't matter how good it is. It just doesn't feel good for me, right? So when you start to feel like that, just trust it and just say, okay, that just means that whatever I was doing served this purpose, right? So for me, it's the teaching. I'm leaning more towards the teaching now. Let me go in and be a part of other people who are going to go out there and help, their clients and their friends and whoever comes and with them. I remember saying a long time ago, I was like, I just want to save the world. I just want to help everybody. I just want to save, and I really meant it, right? And there's almost 8 billion people in there, right? So how can I really contribute in a bigger way to the collective, right? So I've started with going within myself, right? Doing the healing, doing the work, the shit that I talk about, trust and believe. I did it, still doing it in some of the cases, and still have more to, more to do. However, I started within myself, and then I took it out to the one-on-one, right? Working with people one-on-one. Then it became into the group, right? And then from the group, you want to then go global podcast, right? Podcast. I can reach tons of people here and still, put, my impact and my words and share my gifts and my wisdom with you all. However, now I can teach. Right, I can take this information that I've studied, or whether I've taken a class, or whether it's been in a meditation, it's a download that I've gotten, or just woke up just fucking knowing all this shit, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm just saying this and I'm rolling with it because this is what I'm getting or I got, and now I can just train other people, and then they can go out and they can continue to bless the world, and I'm playing a big part in shifting consciousness with humanity. Right. And helping to raise that level of consciousness. Right. So, saying all that shit to say, I'm fucking grateful. I'm grateful. Right. So for you guys, I want you to lean in on what it is that you are grateful for right now and ask for more of that feeling. Right. And it doesn't matter how it comes to us. Right. We just want to have more of that feeling. Right. So I'm back from Jamaica. What's up? Jamaica was dope. I didn't get to take as many pictures and videos as in my mind I thought I wanted to, but Spirit told me to chill the fuck out, and two things happened. My phone died at one point, and I was out on it, so I wasn't back in the villa for a while to get it charged. And then two, my phone wasn't working unless I was on Wi-Fi. So that was really just when I was in the restaurant or like the villa or whatever, but out at the water and other stuff, my phone really wasn't working. But I understood what Spirit was saying. Not everything was meant for me to share, right? As much as I wanted to share all the beauty with everyone that connects with me, a lot of it was really for me. It was for me to take in. It was for me to hold on to. And I understood afterwards, like, whatever. But it was great. But, Jamaica, definitely day 2, I said, okay, I'm absolutely going to host a retreat here next year. So July of next year, Jamaica. Do not have the details at all yet. I'm waiting for them to send me everything so I could put it together and put it out there. I did put it on my story when I was in Jamaica. I was like, day 2, gonna do, host this retreat next year. Who's going? I honestly got so many responses, and I know some of y'all are capping because I'm going to slide back into the DMs and give you the information and be like, okay, you going to keep talking that talk. What's up? You going with me? Because I only have 10 slots, and I'm not saying that just to be like, oh, rush and have a whole bunch. No, the villa actually holds 12, and 2 of them are already taken by my daughter and myself. And I don't know if I want to do 2 villas. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, so I will put that information out for anybody that wants to go to Jamaica and do a Heal, Align, and Glow retreat. Right? So that definitely came up for me. Another big thing for me was I was by the water, and I was by the water for about 2.5 hours by myself. And I just kept thinking, back home is what I was just saying. Like, back home, I don't have this level of peace in my life. And I don't understand why I don't have it, because I fucking want it. Right. And I just thought of in my day-to-day life, I'm very intentional. Since I've been on this whole, self-discovery and this soul searching and stuff, I've definitely been more intentional about being still and getting out in nature, right? So I'm making my business to do that every single day, whether that's just going for my walk on the track that gets me outside, but it's always for a short period of time, 30 minutes, right? Sometimes it's a little bit longer, depends on, if I'm listening to a podcast or I'm really deep in conversation with someone, I'm like, oh shit, it's been about an hour and I've been out here walking. That's great, right? However, for the most part, even if it's the meditating and the being in the nature stuff, it's like 20, 30 minutes, right? It's never 2.5 hours. I don't even stop in the middle of the day and say, I'm just going to I'm going to lay on the couch. I'm going to lay in the bed. I'm just going to watch TV and I'm just going to no, because my thought is like, quote, air quotes, I should be doing something, right? So whenever we say I should or you should, that's a belief. So there's a belief within me that's honestly not even mine that feels like I should be doing something. So no. But when I go to an island, because we're in vacay mode, it's like, oh, I'm in vacation mode. I'm not doing anything. And I'm giving myself permission to just be still. And then when we're over there, wherever there is at, it could be Florida, the beaches of Florida, and you just feel amazing and everything is just so peaceful and you're giving yourself that permission. But why is it that it had to be planned permission for that? And why can't we incorporate more of that peace into our life now? We can. We're choosing not to, and we're falling into this hustle mentality and the programming that we have received after all these years. So when I was in Jamaica, I was like, this is stupid. Like, why will I not create the life that I actually want? It doesn't mean every single day that I'm just chilling for 2.5 hours, but I can, right? It's a lot of hours in a day. It's really a lot of hours in the day. And if that's what makes me feel good and it makes me enjoy being here, on earth, like more, then I need to invite more peace in my life and more of being in that quote unquote vacay mode, but doing that here. So that was something that came up, to me. And I was like, oh, I want to definitely talk about this. And then I get back to the States. And then like within 5 days, 2 people that I know died. One of them, it wasn't per se that I knew him, but it was his wife, that I knew. She actually, a friend of mine, my close friend, introduced me to her a while back. I want to say it was 2018 or might have been early 2019. She's like, I think you guys should just connect. And then we talked for a little bit, and then she invited me to speak to her group, her women's group that she had. So that was pretty dope. It was like early on when I was doing like speaking and stuff. So it definitely was 2018 then. Yeah, it was definitely 2018. And her husband died, and then another friend died, and it just made me really question, life again. But I'm questioning it in a different sense. When my best friend died, it was there has to be more to life than this, because if this is it, I don't want to be here. This is stupid, right? So now with me questioning life, it wasn't per se me questioning life. It was more so me questioning myself. Why am I not living? So one of my friends, she said, it's like we're living to die. And I was like, yeah, because we're all going to at some point physically die, right? Then I just stepped back and I thought about it, and I said, but most people are existing to die. They're not even living their life. I'm people. I'm one of them, right? And I'm not always in that living mode. I toddle between the existing and the living, right? I'm going to always keep it real with you guys. So I said, it's like, a lot of people are existing to die. We're just here and just doing, right, the same thing over and over. The other night I was sleeping, and in between that stage of sleep, I get the most downloads. And as I'm laying there with my eyes closed in this like fake sleep mode, I kept hearing the loop, the loop, the loop. And I was like, what's the loop? And then I'm having this conversation with myself. And I said, the loop is where every day you wake up and it feels like it's the same. You feel like you're lacking meaning and purpose, and you're just walking and you're walking in place. There's no goal. There's nothing that you're doing these things for. That's the loop. And as I was saying that in that in-between stage, I then heard, well, how do you get off of the loop? And I just spit it right back. And I said, you do something different and you create momentum with change. And then my eyes opened. I said, fuck, I'm on this fucking loop. And I know how to get off of it. And why ain't I? Right? So I was like, damn, that shit was deep, right? And it was interesting that it was like the loop. And I consciously started calling it the loop because my 16-year-old daughter, she said, it's like we're on a loop. It's like the loop. Just keep doing the same thing. And I was like, damn, that's good. So, having that conversation. So everything was just kind of going like together, where it's like so many of us are on a loop. And we're just doing the same thing every day. And then you're feeling like you're lacking meaning and you're lacking purpose. I started feeling like I don't want to do one-on-ones anymore. But then I started to feel guilty because I'm like, but I can help, but I'm helping people. And then what about if this person needs me and that person needs me and this person needs me? But I just felt like I wasn't being purposeful anymore, even though I would still get, somebody send me a nice message or say like, man, like I had a session with you. Remember you said this and this happened. I just want to let you know, or like, thank you so much. Like you're a significant part of like my life, like my journey. And I love all of that, but I was still starting to feel like it just wasn't purposeful anymore. And what I learned about myself is that if that doesn't feel like it's meaningful or purposeful, like, ew, why am I doing this? Like, I don't want to do this. This is so weird. Right. So it wasn't to take away from the work that I can do. It just was time for me to pivot. Right. It's time for me to pivot from the one-on-one. And I didn't know what that looks like. What else am I supposed to be doing? Right. So there was that thing where it still kept me into this space, and it kept me into the loop. Right. So where I would say, all right, I'm not going to take any more one-on-one clients. And then boom, a one-on-one, somebody would present itself. And I'm like, okay, we can do my alignment thing and we can do this, then that's what it is. And I was like, yo, I'm staying on the fucking loop. Right. And so I had to tell myself I'm only going to do things can change, but I'm going to take one-on-one clients through the rest of this year. Right. And then just see how the energy and the thing flows. So at least I gave myself a time frame, and I don't feel like I'm just walking in place. Right. So with them passing, it made me start questioning myself and just thinking about so many other people. And now some of you guys listening, like, are you really existing, to die and not really living your life? So we look at the big thing where a lot of people say, what's my purpose? I really don't know what my purpose is, right? And I think what it is we all overlook the bigger purpose, right? Kind of like when we do the umbrella and we say like, well, the umbrella is a corporation, then underneath it, you have the other entities underneath there. Well, that umbrella, that big thing, when it comes to our purpose, is for all of us to evolve and grow, because that's what the fuck we came here for. We came here to evolve and grow, right? But in order for us to evolve and grow, we have to learn lessons. And in order to learn those lessons, we have to have an experience, right? We go back. We came here to evolve and grow. That's the purpose. That's the big umbrella, is to evolve and grow. But if you are on the loop and you are just walking in place, you're existing, or I'm existing, because I'm not evolving, I'm not growing. And if you think about it, look at the last 7 days of your life. What have you done differently? Have you done anything differently? The last 30 days, what have you done, right? I know that I've evolved, and I know that I've grown since my best friend passed. She died in December 29th, 2017. I know that I've evolved and grown a whole lot. However, I'm also very much aware that I'm in the loop. And I'm walking in place. And I don't like that. I don't know about you. I don't like it. But we can get off of the loop. And remember, we can get off of the loop by doing something different and creating this momentum of change, right? So my challenge to you guys is, I dare you to be different. I dare you to do something. Whenever you listen to this, within the 24 hours of you listening to this, I want you to do one thing that was different. That's it. Just one thing that was different. Whether it's drive a different route, eat at a different time. My friend's husband was telling me where he started trying to brush his teeth with his non-dominant hand. I was like, ooh, that's a good one, right? Or eat with that, right? I remember when I was in the military and I went through my boot camp for the Army, and when we went through that training, we could only eat with a fork. Everything had to be like with a fork. So I started to eat, like I would get yogurt for breakfast, and then I would just eat the yogurt with the fork, because that was all the fuck they gave us, right? Some mind shit, But it's basically, but for real, all jokes aside, if you out in the middle of war, like, you got to do what you got to do, right? And it might not be no spoons, it might not be no fork and a knife and lay everything out for you. So you do what you got to do. So I understand the whole concept of it. But yeah, I was just eating that with, and it's different because what we're used to doing is we're used to using a spoon, right? So then when you go and do something different, it's foreign to you, right? And then you want to quit and you say, no, fuck it, because I'm not used to that, right? But once you start doing it a little bit more, you're just like, oh man, I can actually do this. Man, when I got back out of the Army, or I came home for like a break, I would eat my yogurt still with a fucking fork. Because I can do this now, right? I can do it now. So it's just doing something different. And when we do something different, we create that momentum of change by letting the universe know, I'm open to something different, right? I'm open to something different. And when you do that, just because you, like for me, for example, I go and walk at the track at the same school. So the other day, Friday actually, I said, I'm going to go to a different school. And I went to that school to walk, right? That was me doing something different because I always go walk at this place. Well, let me just go do something different because I don't want to stay on this loop. And I want the universe to know that I don't want to be on this loop no more. I want to do something different. And when we do something different, this is how we meet new people, right? Where we get put into different opportunities and spaces because we did something different. So you can feel a certain way about your life and you're probably like, yeah, I'm on this fucking loop. So I'm going to say, with awareness comes change, and with change comes growth. So if you can be aware that every day is the same, even though you're doing something, per se, different, it's that feeling of it's the same, right? I'm not actually doing something completely different, but every day, everything is the goddamn same. It's the same. And it feels like it's the same because there's nothing that you're actually working towards. Right? It's nothing that you're actually working towards. When I was having a conversation with my friend and we were talking about that, and she's like, yeah, I know what you mean. And she's talking about herself. And she was saying something like, yeah, because, and I'm not going to fill in the blanks of what she was saying, but she's like, yeah, because I'm doing this so I can. That's what she was saying. And she's like, just finish the fucking sentence. And she's like talking about herself, but she couldn't finish the sentence because there wasn't anything. She's like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this so I can. And there was nothing that came after that. And I said, and that's the loop. That is the loop. We didn't come here to the school of earth just to be in that survival mode and just to be existing and just to be paying bills and doing the same thing over and over and over. That, my friend, that's a waste. That's where we're missing our purpose. And our purpose is to evolve and grow. So how are you guys going to grow? Where are you going to allow yourself to evolve? Are you going to allow yourself to get off of the loop? Right? So again, I'm going to go back to the challenge. I challenge you guys to dare to do something different. So whenever you're listening to this podcast, I want you to, within that 24 hours of you listening to it, to do something different, even if it's something small, right? Even if it's something small. Or if you want to be like me, when I be in that risque mood, you do some shit like, oh, want me to do something different? Fuck it. I'm moving from this coast and I'm going to the other coast. Don't even know what I'm doing. Just getting in the car with the kids. Let's ride. I feel a big shift like that within me is coming. I don't know what it's going to be. But I definitely feel like it's that big shift. We're at a 2-year mark. I just hit 2 years for Arizona. August 3rd, it made it 2 years of when I left Virginia and we took the drive. And then August 5th is when we actually touched down in Arizona. So it's been 2 years. So my thing is about 2 years. It's between 2 and 3 years, but it's a heavy 2 years of where there's always a big shift in me, and I feel it, right? I definitely feel it, and I'm actually excited now to see what that is, right? So the more you start taking risks and the more you start doing things different, you start to get excited about it, even though it's the unknown and you don't know, but you kind of play around with it. You're just like, I can't wait to see how this unfolds, or I can't wait to see this, or I can't wait to see that, whatever that may be. And you just get a little more excitement with it. So, yeah, let's fucking dare to be different. Let's all get off this goddamn loop. Let's evolve and let's grow. We start living, right? Because at some point, every single one of us is going to physically die. And this is going to be it for this lifetime, right? We're going to come back and rock out again. But we talking about this current lifetime right now. We are here to live our life, create peace, create whatever it is that you want in your life, whatever it is that you're seeking or you're desiring. I promise you can have it. I promise you can have it. Because that would be kind of shitty if we can't. That would be really shitty, right? So we are in our own way. And I'm including myself in this because it's true. I get in my own way too. I do a little self-sabotaging. Like I'm always gonna keep it 100 with you guys, in there. So we getting off this loop. We're going to evolve and grow together. We're going to share it with each other, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook, or just, you can just sit there on a telepathic thing and just send me the vibes and share your good news and share what you did. I might not consciously know, but on a soul level, we rocking out, we vibing, and we are connecting. So until next time, love you guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Seeing with Your Soul. If something you heard resonated with you, feel free to rate, review, and share with others. If you are looking to go deeper, you can connect with Tisha Michelle on Instagram at Mindset Slayer or visit www.healingalignedglow.com.